Hello there, Year 5, Mr. Forster here. I know you wouldn't normally be getting lessons from me, but you'll be stuck with me for a few more lessons this week and beyond. We're going to look at some character descriptions for your English in this lesson, and our learn objective is going to be to use a range of descriptive techniques. So we're going to do a bit of a recap of some of the skills you might have done already and how we can use that in a character description. Now we're going to study this photo first of all. Have a look at it very closely. Study all the different parts of it, not just the character or the characters, what's in the foreground, what's in the background. Look at the colours, look at the setting, look at all the things that are within the place. Now some of you may have a bit of an idea about what this photograph is based on or taken from. I'm not going to give that away now, but there's certain things we can do when we look at an image like this. If we don't know what the image shows or where the images come from, we can look at these different questions. We can look at who's in the picture, who can we see, when might this picture have been taken, or when could this have taken place, how have the characters got into this situation, why are they there, why are those characters here, what is happening in the image, and where is this being taken, not just exactly where the characters are, but could it be in a different country, could it be somewhere else around the world? Have a think about those questions now. Now when we've started to think about those questions, then we'll start with who. Well, we can see a man. We can start to think about more details about him as well. He's an older man, an older gentleman. You can tell by his hair, for example, the wrinkles on his forehead. Look at how he's dressed. Does that give us clues as to who he could be? He's wearing some sort of apron, it looks like. Does that give us a clue? And this, what looks like a young boy, but you'll notice, studying the picture closely, that he actually, although his head and his face look like a young child, he actually has wooden limbs, and he's being suspended by those strings held above his head. So that's who. We've got an older man, and we've got, what is it, a boy? Is it a puppet? When is this photo being taken? Well, look around the workshop or the shed, whatever it might be. It certainly doesn't look like a modern building, so we can assume it's sometime in the past. How have the characters come to be in this place? Well, perhaps looking at the man, perhaps he's some sort of inventor. And why has he chosen to invent this young boy, this puppet? And what are they doing there in the first place? What is the purpose for him being there? Well, there's lots of different reasons we can come up with, and the beauty of this is that everybody's opinion could be different. And where is this taking place? Well, although we can think about this as taking place in the past, perhaps it doesn't look like something that would traditionally be in England, the United Kingdom. It could be, looking at the way the man is dressed, it could be set in another country. And now if we look as well at these other questions on the left hand side, what are your first impressions of the man? What sort of person is he? Is he good or bad? Why? See if you can look at the picture and study for clues to support your opinion. And then you can begin to think about how you would describe him, what sort of adjectives you might use to describe him based on the way he looks. In this image, he looks perhaps quite shocked, maybe shocked at what he's been able to create, or shocked maybe something has happened, something magical or something unnatural perhaps. And how we describe the scene, well, I mentioned before about studying the colours, studying the lights. Everything looks quite old and dingy and quite dark colours, apart from the light obviously coming in from the outside. But if we look at in the background, we've got those drums covered in dust. We've got wooden crates full of junk. We've got things stacked behind. But then in quite vibrant, bright colours, we've got this boy or this puppet. And the inventor himself, or the man himself, he's wearing that bright, vibrant red waistcoat. So think about those. Think about what the colours tell us. Think about the expression of the man. Think about the way that he's looking at the boy or the puppet, and his body language as well, and also the way that the boy is returning his gaze. He's looking quite serious with a quite fixed expression as well. So lots of things to think about. So now, once we've thought about those things, or the different parts of the image, and we want to come to our character description now. And we have to think, what we talked about, what impression that you get of the man, but what impression do you want to give the reader when you're writing your character description? Do you want the reader to think that he is a kind or caring person, or do you want him to appear as perhaps a little bit mad? Maybe he is being locked away in his shed for days on end, and perhaps he has come up with this quite spectacular but also quite disturbing invention. So you have to think about the language you use and what impression you want to give the reader. And then we think about what skills we might include. Now we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. But also what we can use to help us. What can we use from learning you've already done, or other resources? What can you use to help you come up with this character description? Now this was part of the text extract that was uploaded for the previous lesson, looking at a description of Harry Potter. Now we can look at different things within this extract. Some ideas, we're talking about what can we use to help us. Well, let's look at some of the skills and the language used within this extract. I'm just going to highlight a few bits and pieces. Now I've highlighted some phrases here, specifically some expanded noun phrases as one really effective descriptive technique that we can use, where we use the noun. In this case, the first one, his glossy blue eyes, the eyes being the noun, the person, the place, the thing, the object, and then the adjectives to describe the noun. So the adjectives being glossy and blue, so his glossy blue eyes, his once quivering hands, the hands being the noun, and then the adjective quivering, or compound adjective, once quivering. We've got his pointed life-saving wand, so again the noun being wand, and then the adjectives, his pointed life-saving wand. We've got there one that's not highlighted, a jet black cape, and then a relatively ordinary appearance. Again, the noun, his appearance, the adjective is relatively ordinary. So one of the most effective ways that an author can use, or a writer can use, as part of a description, because one of the things we said as well was about being really careful with your selection of your vocabulary in order to give the reader the impression that you want to give. So the adjectives that you choose within your expanded noun phrases are really important, and they can really get your point of view across. So let's look how we can apply that to your task for today, writing your character description. So as we said on the previous slide, we've got those expanded noun phrases where you've got the adjectives and the noun and your determiner at the start as well. So in this case, we've used the image here. It said I want to give the impression of perhaps give a bit of a negative impression of the man. Maybe get him to come across as quite mysterious, or perhaps there's a bit of a darkness in him. So I've chosen to describe him as a stern man, so strict, not kind or caring. So upon the stern man's nose, nose being the noun, and then the stern man's nose forming the expanded noun phrase. And then upon his nose sat delicate silver-rimmed spectacles. Spectacles being the noun and delicate silver-rimmed being the adjective. So I've used some expanded noun phrases there in my description. Similes as well. He watched like a hawk. Not only does that give, again, this idea of him being almost like a predator, or someone who is perhaps up to no good. A hawk will also have that piercing gaze as well, the way a hawk would stare across the fields or across the valley, and it's giving that description there of how his eyes are piercing and looking at what he's created. And then adverbials as well. So breathlessly the inventor waited. That communicates the fact that he's perhaps anticipating, he's excited about what he's been able to do. So again, looking at every word you choose about how the impression that you want to give. Okay, so that's all from me for today. Your task is going to be to write your own character description using this image. So it could be of the man, like I started to. It could be of the boy, or both. You can have a go at both if you wish. Look at the skills and some of the questions that were covered in the earlier slides. And then if you're able to, upload your finished work to Teams so that I and the Year 5 teachers are able to read it and enjoy it. Get in touch if you need any assistance with it. But good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing your excellent work. Bye for now.